What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Hustle with Jesse W. And today we're going to go over a couple things, and I'm going to ruffle some feathers. You might even get triggered. Check it out. All right, guys, so get some popcorn, grab a drink of water or your favorite soda, favorite juice, sit down and open up your mind, put your feelings to the side, and get ready for a nice little run here, okay? What we're gonna talk about is the scam that I consider, what I consider a scam in prerequisite classes in college. Now, as you know, prerequisite classes are the very first classes you take when you graduate high school, go off to college in your first 2 year degree, in your first 2 years when you get that associate's degree. So you take a bunch of prerequisite classes. These are classes that are set that you're supposed to take before you move on to like what you really want to study to get your bachelor's or master's degree, okay? So you went through elementary school, you went through middle school, you went through high school, okay? Then you went off into college, okay? Up until this point, none of these schools have like prepared you for like adulthood in the sense of knowing how to pay bills, knowing how to save money, and knowing how to invest, and knowing how to invest for retirement. But we're not even going to cover none of that today. We're just going to cover the very basic thing, which is the 2 years of prerequisite classes that college makes you take. It's basically 2 years, okay? They make you take, more math, more science, more art. Like, what in the world? If I want to be a lawyer, why do I need to take an art class? It has no bearings, okay? Okay, we're gonna talk about that, but then we're also gonna talk about the opposite side of the coin, okay? What you can do basically in the same amount of time or a little bit less time, spending about the same amount of money, okay? And actually making real good money, like bank money, okay? So we're gonna go over that. So by the end of the video, you're gonna realize exactly other options that, generally speaking, society, television, and high school don't prepare you for, don't even offer you for the most part, outside of some commercials that you might see every once in a while, okay? So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go over the 2 year associate's degree with the prerequisite classes colleges make you take before you move on to your bachelor's degree, before you move on to your master's degree. Classes that I consider nothing more than a money grab, because if you wanna be an accountant, then why in the world should you have to take an art class, okay? Ridiculous. I remember when I was in my first 2 years of college, I wanted to be a nutritionist. That's right, I wanted to be a dietitian. I found out while I was in it that that was actually a pre-med type course, and I didn't want to continue it. But however, I did run its course for a little while and enjoyed some classes and didn't enjoy some others. And I think one of the main reasons why I didn't continue it is because of those stupid prerequisite classes that they make you take in college. Okay, like I wanted to be a dietitian, I wanted to be a nutritionist. Why in the world did they make me take art history? Art history. Why? That's nothing more than a money grab. Nothing more than a money grab. If you want to study nutrition, what does art history have to do with that? Nothing. If you want to be an accountant, what does art history have to do with that? Nothing. If you want to be a lawyer, what does art history have to do with that? Nothing. It's nothing more than a money grab within your first 2 years of college. Okay, preparing you for an associate's degree that nowadays doesn't mean anything. And I know that's going to trigger some of you, and I know you're going to have hurt feelings, but you know what? Put that to the side, because the workforce, okay, the work marketplace doesn't care about you or my feelings. They don't care about those feelings. If you're not going to be an entrepreneur, if you're not going to be a self-employed person, okay, and you're going to enter the actual workforce and you're going to bring your skills onto the market, they do not care about your feelings. So let's put the participation trophy in the closet and move on from that, because the associate's degree really doesn't get you anywhere. Now, unfortunately, because you want to get a bachelor's, you have to get that associate's first. So, hey, if you got it, great. You're like 50% of the way there. Awesome. But if you are not the person that wants to go for the bachelor's and wants to go for the master's afterwards, right? If you don't want to do that, okay, and you just want to get the 2 year associate's degree just to get a college degree because you're the first person in your family to get one, because you're the first person in your family to even go to college, then I would say think about it a little bit longer. The 2 year degree, when you graduate from a 2 year degree, on average, your debt that you graduate with is $7,000. Now, when you think about the grand scheme of things, it doesn't sound like a whole lot, especially considering how the average bachelor's degree student graduates with like $35,000 in debt, somewhere in that neighborhood, which is a lot of debt because their starting salary generally with a bachelor's in the workforce is about 30 something. So it doesn't really add up. Now, obviously 7,000 compared to 30 something doesn't seem like a whole lot, but if you're getting yourself in debt $7,000 to graduate with an associate's degree to go out there and try to find a job, then you're doing yourself a disfavor, because the reality is majority of jobs don't even require that. You know, they want people with experience. And how do you get experience? By getting in the dirt and getting out there and learning and working. Now, there are other degrees, or how should I say, other avenues of study that one can take that will actually be about the same amount of time, 2 years or even a little bit less, and cost you about the same amount or even a little bit less or a little bit more, depending where you study and what you want to do, right? So one of the options that we're going to go over here is ultrasound technician. That's right. Look, the average ultrasound technician starts off on a salary of $64,380. That's the median ultrasound technician salary in the United States. Now, the top end ultrasound is making $88,490 a year. So you're talking about $64,000 to almost $90,000 a year. That is the ultrasound technician's like wage, like from starting out to like top of the line. Okay, that's really good, like really good money, especially if you know how to invest your money. That is really, really good money. Now, the average associate's degree, okay, is making $32,000 to $45,700. Now, that $45,700 is after 10 years of workforce experience. Okay, so you're talking about going to college for 2 years, getting yourself in a little bit of debt to graduate to make $32,000 to $45,700. That $45,700 doesn't come for 10 years later. Okay, the average ultrasound technician is making $64,000 right out of the gates. Like right out of the gates, graduated, finds a job, $64,000. All right, that's the average. Now, comparing both, right? Doesn't that like make you think twice before getting that associate's degree, studying some liberal arts, or maybe even worse, getting a liberal arts bachelor's degree? Good Lord, don't even get me started on that. But doesn't it make sense? Like $45,000 top end associates versus $64,380 bottom end ultrasound technician certificate. Because you can get your ultrasound technician certificate within the year sometimes. Generally 2 years. Generally, that's what it takes, 2 years to get that certificate. But there are accelerated programs where you can get it in 1 year. And now the cost for that school, you might be wondering, varies. Okay, that can be between $5,000 to $25,000 for that 2-year certificate. Okay, depending if you want to study in an in-state school or out-of-state school, you might spend a little bit more. In-state school, if you want to get into a fancy school, it'll cost a little bit more. If you don't want to get into such a fancy school, you know, you can expect to pay between 5 to 13,000, you know, for the 2-year degree or 2-year certificate. But you're making way more. Like, am I gonna get myself in debt $7,000 to make $32,000? Or am I gonna get myself maybe like not even in debt, maybe pay cash $5,000 for my certificate and start getting paid $64,000 by the time I find my job, right? Not to mention that if you're very entrepreneur, like, you get your certificate, you start working, you start saving some money up, and all of a sudden you can buy your own equipment, obviously maybe on some sort of business loan, and you start an ultrasound business, and all of a sudden you got a couple of those. And I know somebody that did that a while back, many years ago, and they're living large, like millionaire large. Okay, so it just all depends what you want to do in life, and not fall into the standard cookie cutter protocol that they give us in school, where it's just get good grades, go get your 2-year prerequisite, then go study business management or something like that. God, that's like, you graduate that and you're making $30,000-$40,000 maybe a year, and you're in debt like 50K. It's insanity. It's insanity, honestly. So these are things that one needs to really think about, right? Especially if you're not somebody that really likes school a lot, then you really need to figure out what you want to do. Because for me, for example, I did not enjoy those 2 years in college at all. And I went to some other schools a little bit later, like some specialty type college, not certificates, like one of those I don't know, trendy type colleges. Did a little bit of that as well. And I've done my college, but I have no college degree and no interest in it at all. I'm just a self-employed entrepreneur type person. But if you do enjoy college, or you do enjoy studying, but don't want to put up with studying stuff that isn't, that has nothing to do with what you actually want to do in life, well then there are options like this. And what I would do and what I used to do was just Google, you know, okay, I want to study that. Do I have to go to college, or do I have to take those prerequisites to study that specifically? Then no. You know, some stuff like ultrasound technician, you get that certificate within 2 years or less, and bam, you're making bank right out of the gates. Just something to think about, guys, before you jump in and get in debt on those prerequisite scams that I call, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like on the video. Comment in the comment section for me. Let me know what you think about this type of college, you know, courses and prerequisites and your personal experience as well. Drop it down there. Let's chat about it. Remember to smash that like button for me once again. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll catch you on the next one.